Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of the Happy Knitting Podcast. My name is Julia. I'm coming to you from the UK, and today is Friday, the 12th of January 2024. I'm so glad you're joining me today. If you're joining for the first time, then welcome, and if you're coming back, thank you so much for being a regular viewer. Today will be a really short one. Honestly, it's been a hell of a week. I will be very honest. It's been back to work, and more importantly, we've had a loss in my family, and it's just been all kinds of intense and crazy and emotional. But I have been doing some crafting, some knitting, some crochet, and I thought I'll quickly show you what I've been working on this week. We have a little giveaway towards the end as well. So yeah, I think we'll just jump right in and talk about life at some later point, possibly not today. So what am I wearing? I am wearing my festive yoke, which I knit a couple of years ago. This is a pattern by Scandia, who is Ellie. I love this. I have been wearing this as my primary Christmas jumper to basically everywhere where you need a Christmas jumper. And I am planning to knit myself a second version sometime this year. Just because I want a cream and pink one, I think. I want like cream and bright magenta. And I also would like this to be a cardigan, so it's just more handy, especially if you go to like a work function. It gets very warm very quickly, and I think having a cardigan might just be a bit more versatile as a Christmas jumper gets. I'm also wearing this, which doesn't go with my outfit at all, but who cares? It's been really freezing here in the UK, and this is my Geog Mystery Knit Along by Stephen West. As you can maybe see, I have adapted the border to be a crochet border because A, I wanted it to be quick, and B, I thought it sort of gives the same effect. And this is all British wool, and it is so cozy. I have been wearing this as my primary and pretty much one and only shawl all of this winter. I've taken this to work a lot of times, which if you couple this with like a neutral thing, I think it works, for me at least. And it's so cozy. It's the perfect shape, the perfect size. I absolutely love this. And it is freezing. I'm in my conservatory, so it is even more freezing out here. So yeah, there we go. Also, on the topic of freezing, I have one FO this week, and they have been worn because, again, it has been freezing. And these are the socks that I talked about in detail last week. These are my double-stranded socks using sock yarn from What Mustard Made, who is a dyer here in the UK. I held this yarn double on a 3.25mm needle. I did 48 stitches, which they have stretched out a little bit on me, but I've also worn them over another pair of socks. So I think it works quite well. I think depending on what yarn you hold double, you might have to use less stitches, obviously also depending on your foot size, gauge, and so on. But yeah, they're finished. I have worn them. Sorry if they look slightly warm, but yeah, those were a very sort of practical knit. And actually the same goes for my only other knitwear work in progress that I have been working on throughout this week. And that is a pair of gloves for my husband, because he fell off his bike last week. He is completely fine, a bit bruised, but fine. But he had beautiful non-handmade gloves, and they broke. He shredded his gloves when he fell off his bike. So I said I will make him some, and he's been rushing me to get these finished, which is why I haven't really worked on anything else in terms of knitting. So what I've done is I have used Knit Picks Felici held double. I don't know the colorway name, honestly. I had 2 balls, which I thought would be enough to hold a double. Turns out it wasn't. So I wound off a little bit of one ball to ensure that I was starting on the same stripe for each ball, essentially, to hold a double and still have the stripe sequence. I also for this cast on 48 stitches, which I think is the largest size of the world's simplest mitten pattern by Tin Can Knits, which comes in a couple of different yarn weights. So I went with the DK because that's roughly what 2 strands of sock yarn will give you. So 48 stitches on 3.5mm needles. Of course, I can never follow a pattern, so I have also adapted this. I made the ribs slightly shorter. I changed the decreases, and because I realized I was running out of my main yarn, I then used this yarn, which is actually the yarn that I use for my husband's scarf. It's the Drops Big Merino for the top of the mitten as well as the thumbs. So this is a slightly thicker yarn than DK, I think. But it works quite well. So I held this just one strand, and for the Felici I held it double. And yeah, so I only did the decreases every second row with this yarn, which meant that it is more like a pointier top. But that also meant that I could save a bit of yarn to make sure I have enough for the second mitten. And yeah, I think it looks quite pretty. Again, this just needed to be a quick project out of stash so my husband can wear these as quickly as possible. They look a little bit loose on me, but they are perfect on him. And he's been rushing me to get these done, so I am close to finishing the second. For the second one, as you can tell, the stripes don't match because, again, I don't have so much yarn, so I'm just using the colors as they work out in order to maximize my yardage. And honestly, neither myself or my husband are gonna care if they are matched up. And as you can tell, for this one, I've already done the thumb because I don't want to have second thumb syndrome. And yeah, I just have a little bit more to go on the main color, and then I'll change to my contrast, a charcoal, which I think works really well color-wise. You can barely, if at all, tell the difference. And yeah, they should be done very soon. He's been asking me for these every day. And yeah, so I've been working on these. I took this to London with me on the train on Tuesday when I was going to work. And they've been a quick project. I have been, since December, I've been thinking about Christmas gifts for 2024 because I knew I wasn't going to, rush and bang out some Christmas presents sort of last minute. So I've been thinking I could make mittens for everyone for next Christmas. And if I spread them throughout the year, it won't be awful. So we will see. I have a couple of ideas for gift knits that I might just, knit a little bit every month, and then by the end of the year have a basket of hand knits to give away. We'll see if that happens. I have been thinking I might just sort of go through my stash and pick out skeins that would make good gifts, whether that's sock yarn for socks or sock yarn that I might hold double or hold with something else. Just sort of pick yarn for accessories that might be gifts. And then whenever I don't know what to work on, I could just pick out of that basket and make some gifts. So we'll see if that happens, but that is the intention. And if I do make mittens for everyone, the Tin Can Knits Simplest Mitts, which is a free pattern as well, I believe, will definitely be a contender for that. So yeah, that's my only knitting for this week. I have also, however, done some crochet. So you may remember that I started the Sun Gold Crochet Along by Attic24 last week, and I will show that to you in a second. But you get a clue, essentially 15 stripes per week, and I finished mine within 3 or 4 days. And I'm still crochet obsessed. I can't stop with the crochet. So I had to start a second blanket. I had to start a in-between blanket when I couldn't work on my sunflower crochet along, but still felt the urge to crochet. And this is a very recent acquisition as well. I ordered this before Christmas. This is a sort of, I think they call them mega cakes. It's a maker in the UK called Puff Flower, and I am not sponsored by anyone. And they essentially create these cakes of color changing acrylic DK weight yarn. So they just create this for you, and the yarn is already knotted together in a secure way, so then you can just work from the cake and you don't have to do any color management. And it's just a really fun way to crochet. This is my first time using this cake, or this kind of cake, and yeah, I quite like it. So I have decided to go for a granny square blanket. So this is going to be one giant granny square. and I love it. It's been really fun. The only thing I've been battling with is because it changes color, my inner sort of freak can't interfere with it too much. So what I do is when I do a granny square, a giant one like this, in order to prevent it from skewing, I will usually, you know, change direction either every row or every second round, something like that. But with this, I had to be a bit tactical and when I change direction, because the stripes, you never know when a stripe is going to finish. So it's not perfectly symmetrical, which I think it doesn't bother me. I haven't fully decided yet. But I think overall it'll be really beautiful. I'm the only one who will notice. So yeah, it's been interesting, but mostly I've been enjoying it. It's been really fun. And these colors, I'm not sure if they're coming across. They're so bright. They're very, very bright. But again, I'm just trying to trust the process because I bought this cake, which is called birthday cake, this particular color, because I've seen blankets with it and it looks really, really amazing. So yeah, I'm hoping the more I crochet, the more this will sort of all come together and be really, really pretty. I'm also curious to see how far this one cake gets me. These don't measure in grams. They only, I think, they tell you how many meters you get per cake. And I just got the largest one, which I think this is like 1600 meters of DK weight. So it should get me a proper size, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated. But yeah, this has been very much mindless crochet. When I haven't been able to focus on anything, haven't really been able to think, this has been quite good. Now, moving on to my Sun Gold Crochet Along by Attic24. I showed you my humble beginnings last week. Like I said, Attic24, she's Lucy and she makes free crochet patterns that you usually will sell with a set from Wool Warehouse, but you can also just join in with whatever yarn you have. You can buy her a coffee, you can access her patterns for free, which is very generous. And yeah, so this is the Sun Gold blanket, and I bought the Starcraft DK kit. She later came out with a Yarnsmith kit as well, which I am tempted to try that yarn at some point. And I am doing the color wash version, so that sort of classic version, that classic version comes in stripes, sort of random stripes, and the color wash fades through the colors. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just trusting Lucy and going with her color order, and this is where we are. So I've just started my second week, which starts today. The clue came out this morning. And yeah, I think it's really pretty the way the lacy sort of shell stitch is coming out. I really quite like it. I don't have crazy much to say about it, but I went with the standard width, which should be like a single bed size, 4mm hook, same as for my puff flower crochet blanket, and this is where we are. And if you're interested in the color, this is sort of all the colors together. Not necessarily in the order that they'll be in, but this should give you an idea of what the whole blanket should look like in the end. And then last but not least, I have one more knitting whip that I almost forgot. And I mentioned last week all the yarn that I bought in Germany. So if you haven't seen that and you would like to see that, please feel free to go back to that episode. But I bought this yarn, which is Rowan Baby Cashmerino, I believe, to make myself a magenta hat, because I really want a magenta hat. I have been wanting one for a while and I love this. I love this so much. So the other day I just cast on, so I'm doing a 2x2 ribbed hat, no particular pattern, but there are many patterns out there. I cast on initially with 108 stitches, but it was too big, so I ripped it out, and now I'm doing 96 stitches on a 3.75mm needle. And I had work training yesterday, so I actually got a fair amount of 2x2 rib done during that training. And yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be a 2x2 ribbed hat. I think it's gonna be really nice. I'm really looking forward to this, and this yarn is beautiful. It's just working out beautifully. I love it. It's very shiny. It's a bit more luxurious than what I usually pick. I got this on sale. I think a ball was €4 in Germany, which amazing. And yeah, I love it. I have 2 balls, which should be plenty of yarn to finish this. I'll probably do sort of a double folded brim, but we'll see what happens. For now, I'm just gonna be able to knit 2x2 rib in the round, and it'll be really simple and mindless. So yeah, that's basically all I've been knitting on and crocheting on. I'm going to see a friend tonight, so I'm gonna bring this, I think, as my sort of knit and chat project. I have worked a tiny bit on my unspun Hillesvåg jumper, but not really enough to show you. I am so close to separating for the sleeves, and I think once I do, it'll be a bit quicker, because at the moment I'm stopping all the time to count and measure and figure out when exactly I want to split for my sleeves. And once I'm past that point, it'll be really mindless as well. And as you can tell, I am definitely into the mindless knits at the moment, because as I said, there's a lot going on in the background. So there you go. That's all I've been knitting on. And the last thing I have to talk to you about is a little giveaway that we're doing. So let me get that organized and show that to you in a second. Right, so Claire of Cookston Yarns, who is in Aberdeenshire, UK, she reached out to me recently and asked if I wanted to be sent a little giveaway, because I commented on one of her posts, and she has beautiful yarns. So if you're in the UK or even elsewhere, have a look. And she did send me this for free to give away. I'm not being paid, I'm not keeping anything. I didn't get my own set. This is just something that she sent to me, and I will give my honest opinion, and then I will send it out to one of you guys. So what she sent is, she is the only UK stockist of these, which are doodle card decks by Pacific Knit Co., who I believe are in the US. And she has a couple of different sets, so I got to pick my favorite. I picked the spring doodle set because I thought it was really fun. And also spring, I mean, yes. So what you get is, it's basically, it looks like a card deck, like playing cards, and you get sort of an instructional card, you get 2 cowl patterns, and then all these cards have different charts. So I'll give you an overview here. So these are some of the charts that are in this deck, but there are, I think 56 of them. And you can use all of these color work charts to knit either, the cowl patterns that are in there, but I mean, you could put those on any garment, anything you would want to knit. And I think that's such a cool idea. It's really, really fun. It's sort of mix and match, similar maybe to the sort of strange brew, where you get a pattern for a sweater and charts. You could, use those together. You could do whatever you want. And I thought that was really, really fun. I believe she's also doing kits at some point for these, and because she's based in the UK and I'm based in the UK, I decided that we would do this as a UK-based giveaway. So sorry folks, if you're in the EU, it's just too risky for me to ship because Brexit is horrible. And for US-based viewers, I think you might be able to get your hands on these quite easily. So we're going to have a giveaway within the UK, and I hope this doesn't offend anyone. It's just sort of what makes sense, what makes it easier for me as well. So yeah, I will send this out into the world. This again is the Cookston Crafts card. Ooh, this is like 5 years ago when nothing focuses. Who knew? But yeah, all the information is here. I will link it below as well. Like I said, this is just something that was sent to me. I'm not being paid. I'm not keeping anything. But I thought that was really, really lovely of Claire to send out. It looks really fun. I might be tempted to get a set of for myself at some point. Yeah. And so if you do want to win this, to knit some color work, leave a comment below. Mention that you're in the UK and let me know either sort of your Ravelry or Instagram, just a way for me to contact you, and then I will pick a random winner by the next time I podcast, so probably within the next week or so, and I will get in touch with you and organize to get this sent out to you. So yeah, I just thought that was very fitting, especially with the amount of color work I've been doing before Christmas. I mean, if you remember my advent cowl, you could very similarly do something with this, because there's tons of charts. Just use whatever yarn you feel like, pick a chart for each day, and there you go. You can make yourself your own advent cowl. So many things you may make, and honestly, just looking at this makes me think maybe I need to order one for myself. So yeah, that's the giveaway, and that's the only sort of sponsored, if you want to call it, content of this episode. I really try to be as transparent as possible with these things with you, because I hate nothing more than sort of influencer marketing when you don't know if someone is, you know, either paid or gifted something. So I hope this makes it clear and this is okay for you guys. And sorry, I know we used to have more sort of international giveaways, but I don't know, the world has changed a bit. My situation has changed a bit. Shipping has gotten very, very expensive, and this is not my business. This is not my job. So there we go. And you guys, I think this is it. Honestly, throughout this whole episode, I feel like this hasn't been my best episode, but you know what? Done is better than perfect. We are all just humans, and I certainly can't be perfect all the time. So I think I'm just gonna send this out into the universe. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna go check my 3-year-old is still alive, which he should be. And then hopefully get back to my crochet. I essentially have a weekend of knitting planned. Like I said, this week has been insane with family drama, life stuff, going back to work, and luckily this weekend my husband will be able to take over a bit, so I can just take a breath, do some crafting, you know, find where my head is at, and hopefully come out a bit more rested, if that's even possible. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you still enjoyed this episode. I hope it hasn't been too all over the place. Wherever you are, I hope you're being safe and healthy and have some yarn to play with, and I will talk to you very soon. Happy knitting. Bye.